Hi dancers, Miss Angelina here, and today we're going to work on some pre-point work and strengthening our feet and ankles so that we don't have any injuries in the future. I will be showing you some exercises and things that you can do to help strengthen your feet and ankles while you're off. And while you're in classes too, it'll be good. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do some rises. So just find something you can hold on to, preferably with two hands. So you can either hold on to the wall or a chair or your countertop or anything. I'm just going to face you right now just so that you can see. So we're going to start with rises with our feet in parallel. I want them to be slightly apart. All right, so before we rise up, I want you to make sure that you can feel all 10 toes on the floor. All right, and as you rise up, you want to rise up over the big toe. So you want to make a nice straight line, right straight over the big toe, and you don't want to wing outward because this is sickling your feet and it's overstretching the tendons and ligaments on the outside of your ankle, which can lead to injury, whereas we want to stabilize those by using them and making them stronger. So when you do a rise in any position, whether it is parallel, turned out, one foot or the other, make sure that you're going up over the big toe. So just so that you can see from the front view, this is what is going to happen. You want to rise up over your big toe, keeping all those toes off the ground, making sure that we don't wing our feet out, because that, first of all, isn't very pretty, and it's not going to feel good. So make sure you're nice and straight. That's all the way up and all the way down. You want to make sure that your legs are nice and straight, your back is nice and tall, and you're looking straight forward. You don't want to be looking down. Your feet are there. They're always going to be there. They're not going anywhere. So all the way up, all the way down. So for this exercise, we're going to do 10 rises with our feet in parallel. 10 rises with our feet turned out. 10 rises on our right foot with our left foot behind. And then 10 rises on our left foot with our right foot behind. So when we're in the position with our one foot behind, you want to make sure that your heel is touching your leg and your toes are away. Because if you bring your toes to your leg, that sickles your foot and isn't very pretty. And we want to make sure that we hold our technique. So we want to push our toe away from our leg and push our knee out to the side so that we're not turned in, both legs are turned out, and we're nice and strong. All right, so let's do these together, starting with our feet in parallel. All right, we're going to go up and back down and up and down. Number 3 and down. 4 and down. 5 and down. 6 and down. 7 and down. 8 and down. 9 and down. 10 and down. Now we're going to repeat those 10 rises in first, still going over our big toe and not sickling. It is a little bit harder in first position with our legs turned out to keep our weight over our big toe, but it is doable. Make sure that your body is in your correct alignment. You're not sticking your bum out. You're not pushing it forwards. Our legs are nice and straight. We're holding our core muscles, and we're going to rise up and down, 2 and down, 3 and down, 4 and down, 5 and down, 6 and down, 7 and down, 8 and down, 9 and down, 10 and down. All right, now we're going to move on to our right foot. So all of your weight on your right foot with your left foot behind, in coup de pied behind. Toe away from your foot, heel touching, keeping your turnout. And we're going to rise. 1 and down, 2 and down, 3 and down, 4 and down, 5 and down, 6 and down, 7 and down, 8 and down, 9 and down, 10 and down. Now switching onto our left leg, doing the same thing. 1 and down, 2 and down, 3 and down, 4 and down, 5 and down, 6 and down, 7 and down, 8 and down, 9 and down, 10 and down. All right, and you can shake that out, and I want you to repeat that same thing 2 or 3 more times. It will hurt. You will feel a burn in your calves. That's where you should feel it. All right, dancers, for our next exercise, we are going to work on keeping our ankles nice and straight with no sickling, and we're also going to be working through our feet using our demi-pointe to the best of our advantage. So, for this exercise, you can use a yoga block or something about the same size, like a book or a tissue box, anything around the shape and size that isn't too heavy. And you can do this either sitting in the middle of a room, or you can do it up against a wall. I'm going to be doing it up against a wall. But first, I'm going to show you the placement of where this block needs to be. You're going to take the block, and you're going to place it in between your feet, and you want to make sure that the sides of your feet and your ankle are touching the block and squeezing gently, and your toes are nice and pointed. All right, so we're going to start with our toes nice and pointed, our back nice and straight, our hands on our hips, making sure that we're not propping ourselves up or hunching our back. All right, so we're going to lift just our toes into a demi-pointe, then up to a flex, keeping your feet touching the block at all times. Demi and point. That is 1. We're going to do 10 of them. All right, for 2, we go demi, flex, demi, point, demi, flex, demi, point, demi, flex, demi, point. 5, demi, flex, demi, point. 6, demi, flex, demi, point. 7, demi, flex, demi, point. 8, demi, flex, demi, point. 9, demi, flex, demi, point. Last one, demi, flex, demi, point. For this exercise, I would like you to do it 2 to 3 times. For this next exercise, it is going to be a similar movement, however, just slightly different in how we do it. So, this one I call demi-pointe squeezy flex, and it'll all make sense in a minute. So, what is going to happen is we are going to lay on our backs, our back nice and natural on the ground. You don't want to curve it, you don't want to arch it, but there should be a little space underneath, just where the natural curve of your back is. And you're going to lift your legs up, and your feet should be in line with your hips, and your knees are going to be a bit bent. And you can just have your arms down by your side. And so, we are going to push our feet into demi, and then point, and then we're going to squeeze. And so what we do for the squeeze is we flex our feet while keeping our toes pointed, making a crunch. So I know this isn't very pretty, but it is very good for finding the strength in the bottom of our feet and our toes. And then we're going to flex it. So let's do that again. We go demi, point, squeeze, flex. Demi, point, squeeze, flex. So while we're doing this, you want to keep our feet nice and straight, nice and parallel, not turned out just parallel and only a little bit apart, just as if you were standing hip distance apart. And make sure that you're not sickling your feet, that your ankles are staying nice and straight. I want us to do 10 of them and then repeat it 2 to 3 times, just like we did with the last exercise. So, let's go. Demi, point, squeezy, flex. Demi, point, squeezy, flex. 3, demi, point, squeezy, flex. 4, demi, point, squeezy, flex. 5, demi, point, squeezy, flex. 6, demi, point, squeezy, flex. Demi, point, squeezy, flex. Demi, point, squeezy, flex. Demi, point, squeezy, flex. Last one, demi, point, squeezy, flex. After you do that exercise 2 to 3 times, we are going to do it again with a little bit of a modification. So instead of keeping your legs bent the whole time, we're going to stretch and bend them with the movement of our feet. Laying on our backs again, keeping our spine nice and neutral with that space in the natural curve of our spine. We're going to have our hands nice and down, and we're going to start with our feet up in the same position that we were before. So, as we go to demi and point, we're going to stretch our legs. Demi, point, and then squeezy flex, we're going to go back to our bent position. And we're going to do it 10 times again, and we are going to repeat it 2 to 3 times. Ready? And 1, demi, point, squeezy, flex. Demi, point, squeezy, flex. 3, demi, point, squeezy, flex. 4, demi, point, squeezy, flex. 5, demi, point, squeezy, flex. 6, demi, point, squeezy, flex. 7, demi, point, squeezy, flex. 8, demi, point, squeezy, flex. 9, demi, point, squeezy, flex. Last one, demi, point, squeezy, flex. Now after you've done that exercise 2 to 3 times, we're going to repeat the same thing again with the stretch and bend of our legs, but now in turnout. So keeping our feet in first position in the air as we do the exercise. Laying on our back again in our neutral position with our feet up and turned out in our flexed position in first position as if we were in a first position plie. We're going to do 10 of them. Ready, we go. Demi, point, squeezy, flex. 2, demi, point, squeezy, flex. 3, demi, point, squeezy, flex. 4, demi, point, squeezy, flex. 5, demi, point, squeezy, flex. Demi, point, squeezy, flex. 7, demi, point, squeezy, flex. 8, demi, point, squeezy, flex. 9, demi, point, squeezy, flex. 10, demi, point, squeezy, flex. And make sure you repeat that exercise 2 to 3 times as well. All right, so for our next exercise, it is what we call U-shapes. We're going to be in the same laying down position with our spine neutral, with our legs up and our knees bent, but we are going to make U-shapes with our feet. So we're going to start with our feet just relaxed. You're going to grab your toes and sickle them inwards, and then you're going to draw a U-shape out and fan out your toes, and that would be what? So this is going to be a weird one to try and show, but so you will grab your toes and scrunch them in and fan them out, and scrunch them in, fan them out. Does that make sense? So that's what our feet are doing, and we already know what our body's doing. We're gonna do 10, take a break, and then I want you to repeat it 2 to 3 times, or however many times that you think that you need. All right, so here we are with our neutral spine, bending our legs up, our feet in line with our bum, and we're going to crunch in and out and fan. Down and in, out and fan. 3, and 6 and out, 7 and out, 8 and out, 9 and out, 10 and out. This next exercise is going to be a little bit tedious and it's going to feel a little bit funny, but this is a standing one and we are going to travel from one end of the room to the other and then back. At least once, maybe twice, just depending on the size of your room and what you think that you need to do and how long it takes you to actually get the benefit out of it. So you're going to start standing, and basically what you're going to do is you're going to inch your toes along, just basically using your toes to move. It's going to take a long time, and it is pretty difficult. I think you get the gist of it, but you're going to do that all the way down the room and back at least once, maybe twice, depending on how big your room is. Alright, you're going to lay out the TheraBand nice and flat the whole length, or scarf or whatever you're using, and you're going to grab onto it with your toes and slowly pull it towards you. You're going to do this 4 times each foot. Thank you for joining me today, and that is all for our Pre-Pointe preparation class. Stay safe and healthy. Please wash your hands, sanitize everything, and stay home. Bye, guys.